What's up, guys? We're back in the S10. Got another S10 video for you. So if you have watched any of my or if you follow me on Instagram, check it out, pretty neat. You've seen that I've got this Moroso switch panel that I built, or I didn't build it, but I bought all the parts for it, and then I did all this wiring to simplify it a little bit for myself. All the black wires on the bottom are the input power. The red wires coming out go out to relays or accessories, and then these two top ones are going to be grounds for the red lights on top. When you flip the switch, the light will turn on. So all that's set in stone right now is that this is going to be the ignition switch, and that starts, obviously. So flip her on and start it with that, and then I'm stuck. Ow. And then these will be this will either be like water pump, fuel pump. I'm considering just wiring to the ignition switch just so we can save. So I can save a switch here, because I'll probably run out if I'm not smart with it. One of them is gonna have to be like lights. So this guy will probably be like headlights, tail lights, and then probably like line lock or something. And then we only got one more, so that's how quick we run out. Today we're gonna try and make a little thing that extends out from the dash bar and holds us in place. I don't think I'm going to go back with any kind of dash, except maybe this switch panel, obviously, like right about here, so I can reach it when I'm strapped in. And then probably a little thing right here to hold the Holley dash panel thing, the Holley screen when we get the Holley, but that's for a later date. For now, just want to get the wires, the switch panel in, so that I can run my harness back over here, and this is where I'll have my distribution block and everything, and then the battery will be right on the other side of this in the bed. So one step at a time. I got these trick tabs they're called trick tabs, I don't know why, but they got these little ears on them. You basically stick them on this bar, and then those ears just give you a little bit extra weld support, so that, you know, it'll just have a little bit better hold on it. So that should do the trick. Alright, slight change of plans. Instead of using the trick tabs, I'm just going to use these regular roll cage tabs, and I'll notch them and go this way, because that makes a lot more sense if you think about it. This is what I got, some flat stock, and that if I do it like this, if I got two pieces coming off here like this to extend the dashboard, it's gonna want to flex up and down. But if I do it like this, it'll be a lot more rigid up and down. It might flex side to side, but then I might end up just doing four arms, doing one here, and then angle them up, so that it's just got that extra level of bracing. But yeah, I think the regular tabs are easier. I think that's just a better idea, and I got a bunch of them, and they're cheaper than the trick tabs, so I'll save the trick tabs for like more important stuff, I guess. So we got the notches in the tabs. I could not find a shorter bolt, so now we're going to stick the notch tab up against here with the flat bar, see how long we need it to be, Now I said, if I'm sitting all the way back in my seat, the best I'm gonna be able to reach is gonna be about right here. You want everything, you wanna make it as convenient as possible for yourself. That's about where I thought it'd be, right about at the key. So I marked there, but if you think about it, that's really where this tab is gonna go. You get the tab on there, and then think that to make that work right, probably gonna cut right about here. So that's the real cut. That's the real cut line right there. I've made a decision or two. So basically there will be, the layout is a dash bar tab, the extendo bit, and then a flat back tab, and then the switch panel. Now I'm not going to have really anything else besides the switch panel on this, so I thought, well, maybe I'll just take these tabs and weld it right to the switch panel, and that would be great and dandy. But I think the wiring would get in the way, first of all. Second of all, I don't want to take all this junk off, and I think that heat from welding this tab to that panel would probably do some damage on the fuse holders on the bottom, the switches, the lights, all that junk. So I'm gonna steer clear of that option, and instead, since I've got a little bit more of this piece than I thought, how you're originally supposed to mount this is drill 4 1/8 inch holes and rivet it to whatever you want. So this guy, I think what I'll do is I'll then just cut 2 strips that are as tall as this, and weld the tabs to those, and then drill the holes in the strips for these rivets. And then when everything's pretty much done, the last thing I'll do is rivet this guy on. So that's what we're gonna do. We got our 2 weld tabs beveled, and the surfaces scratched for the 2 side plates. So I think we're ready to weld these on. That way we can go ahead and rivet them on the control panel, and that'll knock out a bunch of steps for us. Alright, so I got those 2 tabs welded on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and paint those while they're still warm, and we'll keep going from there. We're losing light fast, but I got 2 holes drilled on this first one, so I figured we'd go ahead and see if we can get it to work. So let's give them the old rivet. I don't know if you guys ever used a rivet gun, but pretty fancy. Well, this isn't a gun, but it's just a regular thing. All you gotta do is slide it on over top the rivet. Give her a couple pumps. You see the ball and the rivet back there? It gets pulled forward by the by this wrench thing, and that's how the rivet works. It pulls that ball and expands the sleeve around it until it breaks off like that, and then you got this nice little bit left over, pliers or whatever they're called, grabs onto this, and then it'll pull this little ball here down at the bottom. It'll pull it through the sleeve until it reaches a point where it can't, like when it hits the back of this. And then at that point, pops right off. And boom, she's solid. So we got the first tab on our plate here. So now we got both left and right mounting bar things, the tabs on the control panel. So now I think it's time to throw all the bolts in there pretty loose, and then get the spacing on these tabs right and tack those in place on the roll bar. Making progress. Gonna take these two guys, get them lined up like that. It's not too bad. Look alright, I guess. Tack those two tabs on there, and then we'll pretty much have a dash panel, switch panel thing. So I got my two tabs welded on there. I threw on that bolt while I was at it because the grounding wire off the lights is gonna run to that, just so it grounds right back into the roll cage. So I'm gonna cover up the windshield and go ahead and get it painted, and yeah, it'll look pretty nice, I hope. So here's how those tabs turned out, and that little ground screw up here. They don't look too bad. Took a little longer to get all this done than I wanted it to, but you know, one piece at a time, I guess. Eventually this will run and go somewhere. But I got the two arms painted, and I'm gonna start trying to bolt it on and see if I can get it to hold up its own weight. The brackets bolted on, the grounding wire is bolted down. Now this, one thing I did do, I tightened these pretty much, not all the way, I mean pretty tight. Like this isn't really going anywhere. Maybe if I like smack it real hard it would move. They're not like 100 foot-pounds torqued, but they're tight. And so but these guys up here, because I still have to hook up all this wiring and stuff, these guys I left loose so this can kind of angle up and down a good amount. Another reason that I went with this design, and I like this design, is because I can loosen these. Now my issue is that when I'm strapped in the seat back here, and the seat will eventually have to be attached to the roll cage, when I'm strapped all the way back and I gotta reach these switches, if I'm like at a strip or something, this basically has to be like full tilt all the way extended out so I can reach it. But if I'm on the street, or maybe I'm just starting up the car, or if it's a less strapped in situation, I can loosen these and swing this down and keep it at a lower profile, at a more discreet area, or maybe even put it up a little bit. I don't know why I do that, but so it gives me options with my mounting location, and that's always a good thing to have. You always want to give yourself options. So, but another thing I was worried about is how much how loose this is going to be when I press the start, because it's kind of got a tight spring in it, but it's not too bad at all. And even with this not even being all the way torqued down, it's pretty good. So I feel pretty good about it. Switches feel good, buttons good. Now I just got to do all the wiring, which is going to be great. Hopefully get an engine soon, so it's no longer bare up in there. But yeah, I feel pretty good about it. So yeah, if you like following the build, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and hopefully the more people that do that, the better I'll do, the better I'll be, faster I'll be able to work on this. So, and these bolts, they're not pretty. How much these stick out. So someday, I just didn't have the short bolts in the garage, so someday I'll swap those out for short ones that aren't so ugly. But for now, that's how they'll be. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you later.